As you may or may not know, I have my very own merch store.
Eds Auto Reviews proudly present.
Just knock it out with those obnoxious commercials. Anyway, as you can see, I have my very own merch store. And some of you wonderful viewers have already been buying some of my artwork. Thank you. But it also seems like that most of you seem to either completely forget or avoid this. The Brougham Bingo. What is it and what does it do? Well, classic car season is upon us. You know, the weather is getting better and we have classic car shows, including classic American car shows, where I always like to go to. And chances are on these classic American car shows that you'll find a few American landyachts from the 60s and the 70s that have all kinds of meaningless badging all around the car. This is a bingo card that you can take along with you to these shows to try and find as many meaningless badges as you can, including such names like Custom or Brougham or Limited or Landau, you know, that type of stuff. You try to find it and you try to get it off this bingo card. It helps you to have a little fun time at the car shows. But you know what? I'm just about to head outside to a local car show nearby. So welcome everyone to a little round of Brougham Bingo.
And this is my taxi for today. No, not this. This! '75 Buick LeSabre. And wait, while we're driving, let me quickly check the badging. Right, we got the first one. Alright, we are the early birds at the show, so let's wait for a few more rides to roll in and see what meaningless badges we can find, along with all the other four-wheeled good stuff. The show is off to a great start. As cars are trickling in, I notice that the Lincoln Club has already rolled in. Among the members are Town Cars and Mark Series. Definitely a chance to find another meaningless badge, like this signature series Town Car from 1991. And behind this Mark III, we find a Mark V, and sure enough, it's a collector series. I also want to thank the organizers for separating the classic cars from all the other cars, namely vans and pickup trucks. And although I like these cars as much as the next guy, in recent years our American car shows here in Dutchland have been swarmed by modern day pickups. It almost turns into a game of hide and seek. Which classic American car hides behind truck bed number 4? No, I'm serious. Classic vans and trucks aside, some people turn up with yet another boring grey lease Dodge pickup truck. No, you don't like America or American cars, you just like tax advantages, and there is no shame in admitting that. It's like walking down a southern Texas Walmart parking lot over here. Seriously, why not move to the US at this point? I'm just gonna scuttle back to the classic cars. I've seen enough. Ford Mustangs are always a familiar sight on the car shows, especially those from the mid-60s into the early 70s. But the Mustang II? That's a car that shall not be named. But here's one anyway. 1978 Ford Mustang II King Cobra Edition. This one looked at a Pontiac Firebird and said, "Get me one of those!" And voila, a screaming snake graces the hood. The thing with these cars is that the more racy stripes you find on the outside, the more it has to compensate for something lacking on the inside. And in this case, power. Yes, they give this Mustang a sporty edge. The 5-liter V8 was installed and makes, are you ready for it, a whopping 135 horsepower. This is Malaise-era muscle motoring at its finest. And so here is a Mustang from the good old days, but it does seem a little off now, doesn't it? That's because it's slightly smaller than usual. Here is a custom-made, kiddie-sized pony car. It still comes with a radio and a typical floor shifter you find in classic Mustangs and other Ford products, albeit a lot smaller. Power comes from a little electric motor, so technically that makes this a Mustang Mach-E. And yes, besides cars, I also like to film little children in my spare time. And so we hop back to real-life size and a more modern Mustang. This is the newest generation, and somewhat of a surprise to see it already on Dutch plates. A while ago, I made a video explaining that the American cars, such as the Mustang, are at a huge price disadvantage over here because of how our local taxes work. Some enthusiasts decided to fork over $150,000 to play around with 450 horsepower, 80,000 of which goes straight to the taxman. That's right, I looked it up. By buying a Mustang, this person treated the government on a brand new Mercedes E-Class worth of taxes. What seems like an ordinary Ford Fairlane with an unusually tall trunk is actually a Ford Fairlane 500 Galaxy Skyliner, and that's a mouthful. The Skyliner name was applied to the Ford cars with a retractable hardtop, and this is the favorite position at the car shows to show off the mechanics. This so-called hideaway hardtop was the next step in convertible pleasure. You didn't have a cloth-based soft top, but a metal roof that folds into the trunk through a complex system. The major disadvantage is that you almost have no trunk space, but the major advantage is that you can truly show off. It's almost like your car comes with a toupee. Talking about toupees, I also need to fix my hair. Maybe it's best if I hide it under a cap, and sure enough, here is a wide variety of caps for sale. After spending a night on the porcelain throne after eating a nice bowl of pho, I think I should qualify. And you also start to wonder if these aren't also hit by the import tariffs. Anyway, I almost forgot I had a bingo card to fill out, because here is a Ford LTD station wagon. It's presumed that LTD stands for limited, so does that count? I'll take it. On these car shows, I always learn something new. For instance, did you know that every Chevrolet Chevelle ever made was an SS? Even the base level 6-cylinder version, and that's where they got the name from. SS originally stood for straight 6. Did you know that the General Lee, in fact, was a Dodge Challenger? It's true. And did you know that there are people out there that like muscle cars so much they bought a pickup truck? Well, now you know. On the main showground, we also find a classic Esso gas station, and I must say it's awfully quiet and business is slow. But remember, one fill-up of an average land yacht equals to a supply tank being completely empty and a gas station meeting its monthly sales targets. Whenever you see a Ford Crown Vic over here in Europe, it will most likely be an ex-cop car. I love the Panther Pet from Ford's, and I love to own a town car, Grand Marquis or Crown Vic. But in case of the Vic, it's almost always a decommissioned cop car, sometimes still with cop interior, bull bar up front, and sirens. Even the inconspicuous detective versions still look a bit too conspicuous. Since these cars are among the most featured models in TV series and movies ever, most Europeans tend to see these more as movie props than actual police cars. Besides American car shows, these cars are often used for attention-grabbing promotional purposes or minor roles in European TV shows or commercials, when an American feel is required, and best of all, used for such things like fundraisers for terminally ill children, where they get to ride along in one of these, because hey, a red Ferrari is cool, but so is a police interceptor. Here is a Kaiser Vagabond from 1949. You remember Kaiser? It's one of those American brands that tried to make it right after the Second World War during the post-war economic boom, but ultimately failed. The Vagabond was the top-of-the-line model of an already luxurious brand. These cars are comparable to Chryslers and Cadillacs of those years. Take a good look at the rear and notice how the body seams move into the roof section. That's because of an unusual feature. The car does not only have a trunk, but a rear hatch on top of it, so a split tailgate, turning an otherwise standard sedan into something of a station wagon. One could argue if this isn't an early version of what we now call a hatchback or liftback. Here is a Chevy Caprice, and there's a good chance I can score something on my Brougham Bingo card. Yep, it's a classic. No classic car show is complete without some Cadillacs, and here is a more modern interpretation, an Eldorado from 1998. And here is a serious question from me to you American viewers. What's up with buying one of these and then pimping them to make it look like a retirement community? What's up with these chromed hubcaps, the white-walled tires, the chromed wheel flares, the extra chrome trim all around the car, and the pièce de résistance, the padded soft top? I also saw this happening on 2 other American luxury cars when I visited Detroit in 2022. It looks so incredibly tacky. It looks like you want the car to look like it came from 1978 instead of 1998. Seriously, enlighten me. What's the deal here? And so this looks much better, much more modern, a 2013 Cadillac CTS wagon, one of the best examples of the crisp and sharp art and science design language. I absolutely love it considering the original CTS made quite an impression on me as a kid. Most of you will scream that this is the only station wagon ever made by Cadillac, but that's not true. If we ignore the custom-bodied station wagons from the 70s, then Cadillac made one other station wagon that was only sold in Europe, the BLS station wagon. But this, the CTS wagon, is his bigger brother. Look at the sharp taillights. Love it. Welcome to the name game. This is a Mercury Falcon Club wagon. What's going on here? Well, a lot. First of all, most of you will say that this is not a Mercury, but a Ford, or a Ford Econoline van to be precise. Yes, that is correct. But the Econoline was also sold under such names as the Falcon Club wagon. But there was no Mercury version of this, right? Well, no. Over in the Canadian market, Ford pulled quite a few rebadges and model reshuffling, including selling the Ford Econoline as the Mercury Econoline. And yet, I couldn't find a Mercury Falcon Club wagon. Also, the badge for 1965 doesn't match. My verdict? This is a custom job, like pretty much everything else on this van. You gotta love the paint job though, and I checked my Brougham Bingo card and wouldn't you know it, I forgot to include Boogie Van. Oh crap, my Brougham Bingo card! What a shame it would be if I wouldn't find at least one single Brougham. But wait, here is an Oldsmobile Cutlass and whew, yep, it's a Brougham. So let's check the cards. I only got 6, not even a full row or cards. But hey, classic car season has just begun. Do you think you can do it better? Find out by getting your own bingo card at Ed's Automotive Art Emporium. Go over to edsautoreviews.dashery.com and find out.